They laughed at XLM. They said it was done. A relic. Outdated tech. A ghost of the 2017 bull run. While Ethereum was stealing the spotlight with Layer 2 rollups. While Solana grabbed headlines with its blistering speed and VC hype. While influencers chased the next meme coin or AI-powered token. Stellar XLM quietly vanished from the conversation. No explosive price rallies. No headline-grabbing partnerships. Just silence. So the crowd moved on like they always do. But here's what almost nobody noticed. Stellar didn't die. It matured. It stopped chasing the hype and started laying the groundwork for something far more powerful than another DeFi trend. While the market was distracted, Stellar was building real-world infrastructure. And now it's emerging, not as a competitor to Ethereum, Bitcoin, or Solana, but as the invisible backbone of global value exchange. Here's what that means. While Ethereum is fighting scaling wars, Stellar already settled on speed and low-cost transactions. While Layer 2s are patching solutions, Stellar is already being used for cross-border settlements. While Bitcoin is being debated as a store of value, Stellar is quietly moving money across borders for real people and real businesses. While influencers argue over TPS, Stellar is partnering with institutions like MoneyGram, Circle, and even governments. You don't hear about it because Stellar isn't built for hype. It's built for utility, the kind that doesn't trend on crypto Twitter, but reshapes economies behind the scenes. And now, the financial world is starting to realize it. Central banks, remittance giants, developing nations looking to leapfrog outdated systems. They're all turning to Stellar because it works. XLM isn't just another altcoin. It's becoming the plumbing of a new financial system. One that's borderless, permissionless, and quietly swallowing up old infrastructure. So the question is, are you going to ignore it again? Or will you pay attention before the rest of the world catches up? Start learning about Stellar today. Research the use cases, the partnerships, and the vision. Because by the time the headlines come back, it might already be too late to catch the wave. This time, don't laugh. Don't look away. This time, be early. The underdog that refused to die. Let's be real, in the world of crypto, hype is everything. Coins rise and fall not necessarily on utility, but on narrative. And for years, Stellar's narrative was buried under a pile of louder voices. Ethereum's smart contracts, Solana's speed, XRP's court battles. And while the market cheered for the loudest projects, Stellar kept building quietly, almost like a forgotten contender in the background. But today, the silence is over. Because the world is starting to realize something big. XLM didn't die, it evolved. It became the infrastructure for real-world use cases, especially in parts of the world where crypto adoption isn't about speculation, but survival. Look at what's happening. Soroban, Stellar's smart contract platform, is live, bringing programmability, scalability, and security to a blockchain once seen as too basic for serious DeFi. It's not just another EVM clone. It's built with intent, with purpose, with precision. Palago Labs is pioneering advanced dApps on Soroban that cater to real users. Not just whales or yield farmers, but merchants, remittance services, and institutions. MoneyGram's integration with Stellar is already changing how people in Africa and Latin America send and receive money, with on/off ramps that bypass the delays and costs of the traditional financial system. And here's the kicker. Institutional players are starting to tap into Stellar's rails. Not for hype, but for actual cross-border settlement and value transfer at scale. This isn't just innovation. This is revolution quietly delivered. Stellar isn't trying to be the front-facing brand people see on Twitter every day. It's becoming the back end of global value movement. And that's where the real power is. So if you've written off XLM as dead, it's time to pay attention. Because this underdog is not only back, it may have just positioned itself as the most important layer no one saw coming. Up next, let's dive into Soroban itself, and why it's the secret weapon behind this comeback. Soroban is a game changer, but nobody's paying attention. While the world is glued to Ethereum Layer 2s and chasing the next Solana meme coin, Stellar has quietly built something with the power to shake up the entire smart contract space, Soroban. And here's the twist. This isn't some fork of Ethereum or a rebranded copycat trying to do what's already been done. Soroban is a purpose-built smart contract platform designed for real-world scalability, speed, and global financial integration. It was made with a developer-first mindset, with an architecture that doesn't just optimize for TPS or gimmicky benchmarks. It's designed to serve actual users and businesses at scale. Here's why Soroban matters. Soroban contracts are WebAssembly-based, meaning they're fast, secure, and can be used with multiple languages like Rust. This opens the door for a broader developer base and more flexible use cases. Built-in support for Stellar's global payments network, developers can now build smart contracts that directly integrate with the same payment rails used by some of the world's leading remittance and FX companies. Predictable fees and smart contract metering say goodbye to insane gas spikes. Soroban offers a level of cost stability that's actually viable for businesses in regions like Africa and Latin America. Auditability and compliance-ready design. Soroban was built with institutional use in mind. It doesn't just talk decentralization, it walks the walk in a way that also works for enterprise. Palago Labs is already testing the waters, and platforms like MoneyGram and Circle have laid the foundation for cross-border payments using Stellar's tech. Soroban just supercharges all of it. This is not a narrative play. This is infrastructure. Real pipes, real contracts, real business use cases. But the market? Still sleeping on it. That's where the alpha is. If you're a developer, builder, or early-stage investor, now is the time to pay attention to Soroban. Dive into the documentation. Start experimenting. Follow what Palago Labs is doing. Because when the world finally wakes up, it won't be retail leading the charge. It'll be institutions, quietly onboarding billions in volume. Don't get left behind. This is your early signal. Why Stellar's infrastructure may quietly win the race. While the crypto world has been caught up in headlines, whether it's Ethereum's gas fees, Solana's outages, or Layer 2 hype cycles, Stellar has been quietly building something far more powerful. A financial backbone for real-world utility. This is where things get interesting. Stellar isn't trying to be the flashiest blockchain. It's not chasing meme coin pumps or NFT fads. Instead, it's focused on the actual rails of money, the infrastructure that powers remittances, FX, banking, and microtransactions across borders. And thanks to the launch of Soroban smart contracts, Stellar now has the programmable flexibility to handle far more than just asset transfers. Let's break this down. Speed and scalability. Stellar can finalize transactions in seconds with near zero fees. This isn't a pipe dream. It's already being used by MoneyGram, a household name in global remittance. Regulatory positioning. Unlike many DeFi-first chains, Stellar was built with compliance in mind. Its focus on KYC-ready solutions and cross-border payment rails aligns more closely with how institutions and governments think. Real-world integrations. In Africa and Latin America, two of the most unbanked yet mobile-first regions in the world, Stellar's integrations are solving real problems. Inflation-proof savings, stablecoin remittances, and digital identity. Soroban smart contracts. This is the X factor. With Soroban, Stellar is no longer limited to asset issuance and transfer. Now it can support logic, escrow, lending, decentralized FX markets, and even DeFi primitives, all while maintaining its lightweight, scalable structure. While the crypto crowd debates TPS benchmarks, Stellar has quietly been earning trust in boardrooms, regulatory meetings, and fintech corridors. And the momentum is starting to snowball, with Palago Labs developing ecosystem tools and MoneyGram ramping up digital on/off-ramps across frontier economies. Here's the kicker. Everyone wants real-world use cases in crypto. Stellar is already delivering them. It may not be the loudest chain on Twitter, but it's quietly becoming the most used. And that's a far bigger deal. The underdog's global comeback, XLM, is far from dead. While most headlines still revolve around Ethereum and Solana, something far more foundational is happening quietly in the background. Stellar XLM, long thought to be forgotten, is staging a global comeback. But not in the way many expected. This isn't about hype. It's not about NFTs, meme coins, or even the latest zero-knowledge tech. Stellar's comeback is infrastructure deep. It's about quietly becoming the back end of global value movement, especially in emerging markets that most chains continue to overlook. At the center of this resurgence is Soroban, Stellar's smart contract platform, purpose-built for real-world finance. Unlike general-purpose blockchains that try to be everything to everyone, Soroban was engineered with one goal: make smart contracts usable for actual businesses, payments, and cross-border finance. Its architecture is optimized for performance, cost efficiency, and simplicity, the exact specs needed for real-world adoption at scale. Enter Palago Labs, the builders who are bringing Soroban's vision into focus. From on-chain identity systems to financial primitives that empower institutions, they're laying the groundwork for Stellar's relevance across Africa and Latin America. These aren't regions being targeted for charity or optics. They're strategic frontiers where cross-border settlement and financial access are multi-billion-dollar problems, and Stellar is positioning itself as the rails to solve them. Then there's the Stellar plus MoneyGram partnership, still one of the most underappreciated deals in crypto. It's already live in 180+ countries, allowing users to cash in and out of USDC without needing a bank account. That alone bridges the gap between stablecoin tech and the 1.4 billion unbanked globally. No speculation, just hard rails, functional liquidity, and global access. This is how the future of finance gets built. Not with headlines or hype cycles, but with quiet, boring infrastructure that scales beneath the surface. And Stellar is doing exactly that. If Ethereum is the internet of value, Stellar is becoming the fiber optic cable no one notices, until it powers everything. XLM isn't dead. It just stopped chasing hype and started building the rails of a new global financial system. The question is, will you recognize it before the crowd does? Start digging into Soroban, Palago Labs, and the Stellar MoneyGram pipeline now. Because when the lights come on, it'll be too late to catch up. The narrative around crypto is shifting fast. We're moving from speculation to utility, from hype to infrastructure, from clickbait headlines to quiet, unstoppable execution. And while most of the industry is still caught up in daily price swings and protocol tribalism, Stellar has been writing one of the most underrated comeback stories in the entire space, brick by brick, use case by use case. This isn't about flashy launches or billion-dollar token incentives. It's about building the rails for the next financial era. An era where money moves as freely, efficiently, and cheaply as data does today. Palago Labs isn't trying to impress retail. They're shipping products for real institutions, solving broken financial flows in regions that Silicon Valley still doesn't understand. Soroban, Stellar's smart contract layer, wasn't rushed to market. It was engineered carefully, with performance, security, and compliance at its core. And MoneyGram didn't sign on for a press release. They're already live, creating an on-off ramp that connects cash economies to stablecoins across 180+ countries. The truth? XLM was never dead. It just stopped chasing trends and started doing the hard work. While others fought for headlines, Stellar focused on building the pipes underneath the noise, the invisible architecture that makes global money movement actually work. Not someday. Not in theory. Now. And here's what most of the crypto world hasn't realized yet. The next phase of adoption won't come from airdrops or yield farms. It will come from solving real-world problems at scale: remittances, lending, identity, and access. That's Stellar's zone. And they're already in it. So if you've written XLM off, you may want to take another look. Because the comeback already started. And by the time it hits the headlines, the biggest moves will have already happened. If you're still watching this market like it's 2021, it's time to evolve your lens. Look into Soroban. Track what Palago Labs is quietly building. Watch how Stellar's integration with MoneyGram is rewriting the rules for emerging market finance. Do your research. Stay ahead of the curve. And don't just invest in noise. Invest in what's being built beneath it. Stellar isn't just back. It's becoming essential. Like, share, subscribe, and let others know XLM never left. It's leading the way forward.